Men look like China and Iran is mocking the US over all of the protest that's going on over here. I would like to thank Maria Israel for this story that came out from Fox News May 30th, 2020. China, Iran mock US. And, regarding the ongoing protest, I can't breathe. All right. And this started with a tweet from China, which China really don't have no room to talk. Their track record with the Africans is not exactly the best. So China fired back at the US concerns with Hong Kong's freedom by pointing directly at the racial unrest that has exploded in America, simply tweeting, "I can't breathe." Tweets from Hua Chunying, a foreign ministry spokesperson, came as U.S. struggles with nationwide riots that have erupted in response to George Floyd's death in Minneapolis. Her "I can't breathe" attack touched a nerve as both Floyd and Garner, both men, black on our men, right, uttered that expression moments before they died, while facing what many believe was excessive force by police. Now, I'm going to play a video for y'all, and you're going to hear the usual BS from politicians. Now, the cops can go out here and act like wild animals and kill people unarmed, and that's okay. But when it comes down to protesting, these politicians somehow find enough courage to tell people how they should protest. Oh, it should be peaceful and protest safely. Really? How come you don't tell your cops to be more peaceful? When it's a cop, it's anything goes. But as soon as people go out here and protest, now these politicians want to give you instructions on what you should do. Oh, well, don't be mad at the cops. Be mad at the politicians. Again, how come you don't give no instructions to your cops on their conduct? Oh, man, there's a reason why I don't like politicians. State Department spokesperson Morgan Ortagus had castigated China for the way it treated Hong Kong protesters. Freedom-loving people around the world must stand with the rule of law and hold to account the Chinese Communist Party. Really? Which has flagrantly broke its promise to people of Hong Kong, Ortega said. Oh yeah, like the US really kept a lot of promises, huh? But we're still waiting for our 40 acres and a mule. What happened to that promise? So it just have the tweet here, "I can't breathe." All right. That tweet was just the latest in apparent strategy of China accusing the US government of hypocrisy as it faced criticism for the way it countered democracy protests in Hong Kong. Most recently, President Trump has announced that he would block Hong Kong's trading privileges after China's ceremonial parliament voted to bypass. Okay. All right. So they're talking about some national security legislation. All right. In another tweet, who posted a segment from RT, which is funded by the Russian government, blasting the US for supporting violent protests in Hong Kong while denouncing rioters as thugs. No, see, they only use thug when they think it's us out there. Okay. Iran similarly attacked the US, tweeting an altered press release in which the State Department attacked Iran amid ongoing protest in 2018. Some don't think hashtag Black Lives Matter. Iranian Foreign Minister Javad Zarif said, "To those of us who do, it is long overdue for the entire world to wage war against racism. Time for the world hashtag world against racism." And he put this in a tweet May 30th, 2020 at 1:23 p.m. Hua also suggested that the US employed similar regulations and likened Hong Kong to China's hand. Mm-mm-mm. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo set the stage for Trump's announcement by notifying Congress on Wednesday that Hong Kong no longer has the high degree of autonomy that it is guaranteed under the one country, two system framework. Trump said Friday that his administration would begin eliminating the full range of agreements that have given Hong Kong a relationship with the US that mainland China lacked, including exemptions from controls on certain exports. China has replaced its promised formula of one country, two systems with one country, one system, he said, echoing statements of pro democracy activists in Hong Kong. A Hong Kong government statement accused Trump and his administration of smearing and demonizing the government's duty to safeguard national security and called allegations that the security law would undermine individual freedoms simply. All right, okay, let me just go down. These people just going back and forth. I just think this is hilarious. And quite frankly, I think both sides are hypocrites. We already know the US are a bunch of hypocrites. You can't really believe anything they say here. But then you got China and their racism against Africans. Okay, so how can you be pro African Americans over here in the US, but you got an issue with those Africans in China? So we know when we're being used as a pawn in your little war with Trump. These places, they don't care about us. They don't. And if they do claim they care about us, where the hell have they been all this time? I mean, I don't think there's anybody on this planet that don't know all of the racism that we have to deal with. I mean, America's racism is world renowned. Okay, there is a video on here. I'm just going to play the video so you can hear this. All right.
Protest in New York at the Barclays Center. Alex, what's the latest on the ground there?
John, we're hearing some of the same chants around the country. No justice, no peace. This violence is deadly. And of course, the words, "I can't breathe," that's in reference to George Floyd's final words. And tonight, we're seeing tensions escalate in Atlanta. There, we're seeing groups are gathered. Thousands of them are gathered outside of the CNN headquarters. We've seen that they've smashed windows. They've been shoving police officers, even lighting some cars on fire there at the scene. And this is all after that viral video, of course, in Minneapolis on Monday went viral. That video showing a police officer kneeling on an unarmed black man's neck until he eventually stopped breathing. And all of this is really here and around the country, encouraging people and motivating them, they say, to come out of their quarantine and speak up and stand up together. Georgia's Governor Brian Kemp tweeted encouraging people to exercise their constitutional rights, but to do so safely because of COVID-19 concerns. Here in New York, the crowd of protesters marched from downtown Manhattan to Brooklyn, thousands surrounding the Barclays Center, nearby stores, and side streets. New York Mayor Bill de Blasio is urging protesters to direct their anger not at police, the men and women of the NYPD, but at elected leaders. And while the gatherings tonight so far have been relatively peaceful, we haven't seen some changes just within the last 30 minutes or so. We're seeing more police officers there in Brooklyn than we have throughout the day. They also brought in buses. They brought those buses in to be able to haul away basically anyone who gets out of control. Again, we haven't seen that many arrests today, but we'll keep following this, Sean.
All right, Alex, thank you. In New York tonight at the Barclays Center.
Now, isn't it amazing? They don't want the public to get out of control, but they don't care how out of control their cops are. And see, this is why the laws in America have never been respected. Because, see, you want to tell us on one hand to be law-abiding citizens, but we don't see your cops being law-abiding citizens, okay? When the cops are on the streets of America, it's like the Wild Wild West. Anything goes. If they don't feel like following the law, they don't. If they want to infringe on somebody's constitutional rights, they do. In one instance, they use the law. In another instance, they screw the law. So, but how do you expect your citizens to be in order when your cops aren't in order? It just doesn't work that way. That do what I say, but not as I do, that never works, okay? That never works. It don't even work in parenting, by the way. All right? That don't work. And this is why your country is falling apart. But y'all, please tell me what you think. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.